Tatjana. Can I read something about her before we give her the mic? She's an art science practitioner, founder and president of the Vienna-based International Association, ACD-Agency for Cultural Diplomacy. She works on the interface of cognitive humanities, new media technology, and diplomacy. Tatjana's professional background is intercultural education as an employed consultant at the Lower Austrian Government Education Department for 28 years, museum educator in collaboration with Australian Cultural Forum, dance and fine artist, currently working in Erasmus projects related to environment, education in dance and art. Wonderful. So this is totally a different topic, and we are waiting to get more educated on this, how the art is contributing to the global sustainable development goals. Thank you. The floor is yours, Tatjana.
Thank you. Good afternoon from Vienna. Good evening or good morning.
Yes.
Cordial thanks for inviting me to attend. I could follow some presentations yesterday and today. Due to my other commitments, it was not possible to connect with all sessions, but I'm really very inspired by a lot of great insights and works other speakers have presented. So it is, as you have announced, some slightly other approach to this summit and to sustainable development, speaking from creative industries, and as a president and founder of the International Association based in Vienna, Austria, ACD, Agency for Cultural Diplomacy, which was registered in 2016, just after I attended educational workshop by the UNDP in Vienna on SDGs. So I got a value compass, a framework to connect all my projects previously done, all activities in the field of cultural diplomacy within this one hat, like a frame of values which I could provide for our development of partnerships, and to give some base for our educational projects and artistic productions. So I will try to improve this presentation with, let me see. Okay, is it better now? Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on. I don't want to damage your time. It is already late, but just to give some overview how we work and how it matters in sustainable development as not an enterprise, but a cultural association. So we are international, we are independent non-profit association based in Vienna. As I said, our mission has been perceived as a practice of cultural diplomacy for SDGs through improvement of knowledge and cultural practices with SDGs as our common framework and compass of values. The strategy is focused on transboundary collaborations. So it is on the nexus of art, sciences, and diplomacy, sustainable development policy communication, and its implementation through relevant activities in Austria and beyond, depending on partnerships we are and organizations we are working with. Currently, we have 54 founding members, ambassadors, advisory boards, project partners at 6 continents and from 15 countries. So the Fellowship in Spirit 2030, which you can see this title on the right side of the slide, it is meant as a symbolical message, as a shared mission, breath by breath, which we are practicing by welcoming of new ambassadors. I will talk about more later on. Let me just briefly show how we apply on diverse theories and what is our ground methodology also. I had the pleasure to meet also personally Professor John Hawkins, who coined the terms creative economy and creative ecology, and why we are setting on creativity and art for sustainable development and how we do so. I will not read my slides. I will also be happy to share the presentation in the WhatsApp group for all who would like to know more, and just move on. So I say it is a three feathers investment, what we are doing. It is in education for multifold prosperity and partnerships for peace. It is on the nexus arts, sciences, and cultural diplomacy. And it is a creative ecology approach. So it means enhancing circular economy of diverse situated knowledges through a collaborative boundary spanning. It is methodology which is open, transversal approach with a two-way process of a three-brick ethical mode. It's about ethics and values. It is what we are working with. It is about behavioral changes and development of competencies. So it cannot be done without this part of education. We connect, engage, unify by reimagining with, redesigning with, and recreating with, which means it is always a collaborative action. So we are investing this knowledge capital from creative industries, connecting with sciences and policymakers for sustainable futures. So it is also important to say that we are always including the gender perspective and analyzing relational aspects in all of our activities, because we believe that the gender perspective is one of the most important to be included in all SDGs, as it matters to make a progress in any of our endeavors. So investing in relational cultures, we are improving cultures of communication. We are co-creating opportunities to engage for shared prosperity. We are practicing arts for mental health and well-being. So here you can see also feather grid ritual, how it works. It is a symbolical message of sending and receiving the shared opportunities and responsibilities, starting the mission together. Here on this slide, you can see our ambassador, Dr. Anya Fabiani, who became ambassador and vice president of the ACD by our first celebration by the announcement of our work. So it is all about ethics and integrity for United Nations Agenda 2030 as our one of our core documents, which we are referring to in all our activities. What we do by artistic practice, by philosophy, by all these parts of creative industries and humanities as a scientific field is to guide moral imagination and hence enhance the social values revaluation. We are reinforcing conditions and relations while contributing to something greater together, which is this commonly shared prosperity. We are applying on our professional experiences and good practices. We are building bridges, connecting heritage and arts and sciences. And it is all about to generate novel situated knowledges for shared prosperity. So let's move on. I have some examples also to show why creative ecology and for creative economy. Here on this slide, I have shared some important aspects, what resources we use and what is arts giving for SDGs. We are focusing on mental health and well-being. We use creative design and art-based learning for the optimization of relational cultures, prevention of damages, and for responsible use of all resources. We set on ethics and values and on development of behavioral competencies. Innovation is then a result of our collaborative acts for transformation, starting with our relational cultures. And it means among humans as well, among humans in their natural and social, also virtual and urban environments. So in 2018, I was supported by the UNESCO Paris and the Kunsthaus Wien Museum in Vienna by the United Nations Service by starting the Art Impact 2030 initiatives. And this is a slide with a very brief introduction, how we connect artistic impact on applying on circular economy approach. So we are working on removing waste, especially in our social cultures, in relational cultures, but we also take care on production and purchase of our promotional materials, products, on use of resources which we are collecting for our events, spaces we are attending, and so on. There is a lot of awareness and care about this ecologic approach. So how we do so? We have these 3 P's for peace and prosperity. We are promoting our services through web pages of ACD, also private pages of our partners and members, through social media, blog articles, interviews, and of course, collaboration with media in Austria and internationally. We are presenting our working concepts and also initiatives and materials by attending and also by organizing meetings and events with potential partners, supporters, and donators. Currently, I attended UNEC meeting of experts on innovation policy in Geneva last week. So I presented some promotional materials and one initiative. Previously in September, we have also organized an event within the UNESCO Mondiacult World Conference on Cultural Policies and Sustainable Development. This is also the way how we connect with recognized international organization, where we also report on our activities. We set on education starting from kindergarten, as I was professionally engaged as pedagogue and consultant for intercultural education at the Lower Austrian government for almost 3 decades. I worked with all group of ages, starting from kindergarten to politicians. So it was all about connecting at cross-generational level. And as an artist with artistic background, also as a sociologist, I could connect all of this together to argue why art-based methods can open more space for engagement, for understanding, and for transformation of conditions. So let's move on. EQB 2030 is the educational model which I have developed at the Lower Austrian government during these almost 3 decades collaboration. It was presented by this official team, and also more than 200 pedagogues were educated with this model. Currently, in 2020, I started a volunteer work with virtual educational sessions for 150 students of the Noah's Ark Academy in Maragoli, Kenya, with the partner ADEPS organization, which is a supporting partner of this academy. And we are continuing our wonderful collaboration. Last year, we attended together EU-Africa hackathon and have developed also a social business model, which we are working on to be implemented in Maragoli. So here are my students, and they are also attended Mondiacult event organized by ACD. They are always contributing to every activity, and we are developing together really better conditions through these virtual sessions and engagement of all teachers and students, but also through students' engagement of families into our conceptual work and methodology, starting always by needs of them and looking what can be done to be improved by adaptive management of available resources. So there is also a virtual platform, Art Sciences Cultural Diplomacy 2030, which I have created in 2021 with the team of the European Science Diplomacy Alliance, Science for Diplomacy, and it is meant to be actually in hybrid format, on-site and virtual, for a collaboration of art, science and policymaker representatives, creation of executive master courses on cultural diplomacy for diverse groups of people. Cultural diplomacy, of course, grounded in our concept, directly connected with promotion of culture, grounded in the 17 SDGs and the UN Agenda 2030. So we have also live events called Diplomacy on Stage, in collaboration with the Vienna Diplomatic Academy, with museums, with diverse spaces in Vienna and organizations and institutions, as well in abroad in other countries where we have our ambassadors and partners. We are organizing in-talk sessions, we are making exhibitions, diverse workshops, and we are always open for new partnerships. So collaboration with international science and research organizations such as IASA in Austria, European Science Diplomacy Alliance, universities, and individual researchers, scientists. So citizen science platforms are also important, and of course, policymakers, embassies, and media. These are important partners for us in order to succeed and to make impact with our activities in collaboration. So we are actually currently framing the work also by direct responses to emerging issues. Last year, it was a fifth anniversary of the ACD, and I was not able to create any celebration, first of all, because of the pandemic, but even more because of the horrible news spreaded over, and this fact about raising gender-based violence, raising femicide, it leads me actually to start the initiative Orange Feather, which also was awarded this year in May by the Austrian Chamber Senate with the Austrian SDG Award. First of all, it was a manifesto created, there was a media campaign, there was a presentation with for children workshops, and also created other forms of artistic works and educational workshops in collaboration with my colleagues. We have already ambassadors of this initiative. We have also now in December, starting in 25th of November, UN Women Initiative Orange the World. We are supporting with media campaign, and we will have a virtual session in December for the last day of this UN Women campaign on the International Day of Human Rights on the 10th of December. But before, we will have educational workshops with youth, this time in Vienna. So here on this slide, there's some point and purpose why this initiative, why the Orange Feather, why we do what we do. So there was also last July one more incident where we have created a media campaign and want to include this cyberbullying as a phenomena which is also affecting human relations, starting actually from very early age. So we are creating on media literacy workshops for children and youth. Yes, let's move on. Here is just figurative why investing to end gender-based violence, what is going on, how much it costs. I found these very useful diagrams by the UNFPA. So there are costs and by countries and listed. How much will it take by 2030 by intervention? And here is a regional diagram in what countries is the most needed. As I said, I will share the presentation also in the WhatsApp group. So here is also some argument why investing in the orange economy. As it shows, it has tremendous promise with governments across the world. And in Colombia, I have found by the World Bank source, they have seen this sector value growth from 6.2 billion in 2010 to 8.2 billion in 2017. So, and so on. So maybe we can also connect in this mission by putting more focus on this gender issue and oranging all economies to improve all SDGs and to contribute to more peaceful and just life together in dignity, leaving no one behind. Here is also a drawing from a student of the Noah's Ark Academy in Maragoli, and they have contributed with artworks for the UNESCO Mondial Cult event called by us Heartbell 2030 / Stay in Love. Stay in Love is also a message coined by Austrian pedagogue Martha Schorl, who was a Reform pedagogue and humanistic educator, meaning by that, don't cause and leave any damages in our relations and relationships. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I will
Jana, I just want to be in your class, you know. I want to be part of your class. It's such a de-stressing presentation, beautiful, very simple.
Thank you so much.
I worked for UNFPA 4 years in New York, so I exactly know what you're talking about, gender-based violence. I know a lot about the orange economy, whatever you're talking about. I understand this very well. The work has to go on, but at a very, very, very lighter note, your presentation was very simple and de-stressing, and it should have been the last presentation of the event so that everybody can relax and see those beautiful diagrams and weathers around. But I will still have 2 more presentations to go.
Yes, I just have a feather.
Yes.
I'm sorry for interrupting you. I have this feather just to show and demonstrate how it works, and I used to share them in my workshop. So if you find some, please try.
Oh, beautiful. That's why
it's good for relaxing. Thank you so much and keep in touch.
Most welcome. That's why I wanted to end the 3rd day of our summit, but there are still 2 more speakers that are waiting.